General Alder, you are bound by rule of law to the will of the American people.
The Salem Accord is an agreement between Sarah Alder and first the Massachusetts Bay Militia, and later it was kind of drafted into the Constitution when we became a country. So Sarah Alder and her family were stewards of a very ancient song. And it was a song that was supposed to never be uttered. But in response to the persecution she endured as a kid, and in response to sort of coming to America and hoping for a better life and not finding it and losing her sister, she summoned a storm unlike any that anyone had ever seen, just as she was about to be hanged. And when people saw this, they were like, this could be utilized in another way. So she made the agreement, and when a witch makes an agreement, it's binding in both legal but also magical ways. The pageant is a way for the civilian populace to perform this honor that they give to the witches of the American military, and it's a way for people to remember how it all started. There are some parts of international witchery that sort of look at what she did with a bit of derision. Some believe that this song that she released, that these sort of vocalizations that created the weather magic that is now a huge part of the American military canon, people think that that was the wrong thing to do, and they think she should have let the song die with her family. There are a lot of witches who feel like this is a bum deal. You know, imagine if you had no control over what you did from the time that you were 18 to your death. The spree are this sort of extreme reaction to what Sarah Alder did, because in their view, Alder sold them out.
I don't know if Scylla is so much drawn to the spree as she is kind of pushed to the spree, considering the circumstances leading up to her joining it. She didn't know very much about the spree. They were just the one and only very well-organized resistance group against the oppression posed by the conscription and the military system. If no one is actually really reconsidering the system, there'll have to be a violent resistance.
So there are witches who like the spree. Maybe they're not as revolutionary as the spree, but there are witches like Tally's mom who believe that there's something deeply wrong about this.
She understands why her mother is against Fort Salem, but she doesn't understand why her mother doesn't see that the world is in need of help and that she can help.
When we see Tally strike out at that civilian who's sort of in her face and accusing her of stuff and really demonstrating some witch hatred, up to this point seeing Tally be the peacekeeper and be the one that's always trying to do the right thing and say the right thing and make sure everybody loves her. But in this moment, we see Tally really just acting and venting her own stuff, and I think it's really satisfying.
I think she surprises herself, quite honestly. I do think she's highly stressed, in a stressful situation, trying her best. You know, the hostility that she is met with from the civilian, who's seeing her as the enemy.
Even though there's a place for witches in this world, and it's a very secure, identifiable place, I think witches are still the other.
When she's met with such blank prejudice of just her kind being the enemy, she can't stop her fury. And that is something I think Tally probably doesn't know that's within her.
At one point in the episode, General Alder and Anacostia run into a bunch of kids who are the fosterlings, and these are the kids of witch soldiers who've died in combat. And we learn that Anacostia was one of these young people, and she grew up on base and was raised by lots of people, Alder among them. Alder always had an interest in Anacostia. There's a kind of a sweetness and a bit of yearning, I think, when Alder sees these kids, because Alder is not a mother herself. You could call her the mother of all of this, but she doesn't have any actual children and did not in her many, many years. When she released that song years ago, it changed her body a bit, and she ceased to be fertile. So it's an opportunity to see another side of Alder.